I'm Brenda, and I hate doing dishes. So, in order to procrastinate as long as I can, I thought I'd make a video on how to tackle it when, as I clean houses, there are a lot of clients that have the same issue, that they don't like doing dishes either. And it kind of feels like, where do you start and how can you keep this as easy to process so that maybe you'll want to do it every day or a few times a day, like I have to do. But I have 5 people living in this house, my husband and I, and our 3 kids. So, with all of us, sorry, let me rephrase that. My husband and I mostly eat lunch here at home, or if not, we've used our Tupperware and things that are taking it out, so that's a lot of dishes in there. And then my kids, they eat at lunch at school, but I pack their lunch a lot of the time, and we use reusable containers, so like Tupperware containers, like all the time, like save the environment. And then I do use plastic baggies too, when I'm like sick and tired of washing or I can't find anything clean, then I'll use a plastic bag. But it seems like my kids use 5 different cups a day. Sometimes I use a few different cups a day too. I wonder where they get that from. And it just seems to be where this happens like in no time. So as you can see, I have like dishes galore. It pretty much takes over my whole kitchen. So these are my tips on how to get started. First thing, I always leave the right side of my sink here empty. And I know it's not empty right now, it's because I started soaking some things. But this side I don't use to stack the dishes in. I use one side only to keep my dishes, you know, that if the dishwasher's running or if it's clean and needs to be emptied, the dishes go on the left side. And my kids have learned this, so they know we don't stack anything on the right side, we leave it open. And this is really important because if you have both sides of your sink full, or if you only have a 1 tub and that's full, it's like almost impossible to get to the sink to do anything else, to like, you know, fill up a pot and boil some water, to make dinner, to rinse off your clean dishes. So this is a really key part. My kids know, and I know, after I eat to go rinse it off right away. It's much easier to do it then than to have to soak like I'm doing right now. So that's a key part. And then I would suggest if you only have 1 sink bucket, then I would get a tub to put on the side of your sink, or I would put it under your sink and put your dirty dishes in there until you can get it in the dishwasher. Because this is going to make the process so much easier of at least having half of your sink available. Because otherwise, right now, I would have to take dishes out from half of my sink so that I could fill it up to soak it. But what happens is when you have dishes sitting in a sink and you've been running water through it throughout the day or week, and you've been dumping things, it just starts to get nasty and smell gross. And your sink, it just gets grimy. And so how can you clean dishes in a dirty sink? So then you have to clean the sink to clean the dishes? Like, no. So it is much easier to keep one side open and start that way. So I filled it up with hot soapy water and I threw things in there that really need to be soaked first. Like I have like jelly jars that's just not going to come off in the dishwasher, especially not in this one that I have. You really have to put clean dishes in to get it clean. But I like to use it because it uses hotter water than I can tolerate in the sink, or that I want to tolerate. So it just makes the disinfecting and all that easier. So I still use my dishwasher, but I soak them first. Then I start unloading the dishwasher because it's full of clean dishes. Well, I shouldn't say full because we pull from it throughout the day. But it is a good idea, and it's a great habit to unload this every night and have a empty dishwasher for the morning. Or what's worked better for me is to have an empty dishwasher for the afternoon and evening. Because the morning time, our kitchen's really tiny. And for all of us in here trying to make our breakfast, trying to make lunch, we've tried making lunch the day before, and again, the night process seems so busy too, that like throwing that into the mix just sounds horrible. So in the morning, the kids are making their own lunches in here, or one of them will make it for all of them. I'm trying to make myself breakfast, they're making themselves breakfast, we're trying to clean up our breakfast. There's no space to open up the dishwasher. It takes up like half the kitchen. So having an empty dishwasher and filling it in the morning just doesn't work for us. But that is a good idea if you have a bigger kitchen and a layout that works, just to put them straight in the dishwasher, and then by the end of the day you run it and then empty it at night. The amount of dishes we go through every day, and they're all mismatched. Like, if you can see, the kids, you know, I try and get them like fun and cool bowls and like cool cups, but then none of them stack together very well, and they're all mismatched. And while it's really fun and cool, nothing fits in my cabinets very well, and nothing fits in the dishwasher easily. And it just makes for this process, I'm like, I'm doing it to myself by doing all this. So that is my goal, actually, is to switch over so that we're all using the same type of items. I'm thinking of using like Corelle. My grandma has some that she doesn't need that I might use, because I am not ready for them to use like my china and stuff, because they're just, it's gonna break. And so that doesn't, it's not like, oh, I'm super mad if they break it, but it just doesn't make sense to make them, to give them the opportunity to break all my nice stuff, and then they'll feel bad, and then I have to clean up a mess. So no. But all the kids like plasticky plates that we've been using since they've been a toddler, they're really outgrowing that, and they can step up to this Corelle thing. So I'm thinking of using that for all of us, so we don't have a set of dishes for mom and dad and a set of dishes for the kids that are all mixed matched. If they're all the same, this process is gonna be much easier. Because for real, the struggle is real. So that is what I do. I start unloading the dishwasher, putting all that away. Then I start scrubbing these things out, putting things in the dishwasher, trying to get as much of it in there as I can. And then I start hand washing things like pots and pans. I don't wash those in the dishwasher. This is my preference. Plus, I have no space in my dishwasher, so I'd rather put in all these dishes and wash the pot and pan. So that's just me. And then after that, I'll probably still have dishes sitting out here waiting, but if you really wanted to go at it, you could hand wash the rest that are sitting here and let them dry, or dry them off and put them away, so you technically like got it all out of the way. But this would be something that later today, probably after work, I'll need to come back and unload the dishwasher and set in another load and do that. Yeah. So those are my tips for helping. And then after that, I wipe down the kitchen counter. So I forgot about that. So after, down here, after I've got the sink cleared out, I want to give it a once over rinse or something at least. So this is one of my favorite things that I always just leave out on the counter or under my sink. It's homemade. It is just a tablespoon of dish soap and the rest filled up with water. You don't want to fill it too high because when you shake it, it gets all bubbly. So you gotta leave room for the bubbles. But this is really good because you think about it, dish soap is a degreaser, and so it's used to taking food off of stuff. And so on my counters, this is great. In my sink, this is a fantastic way to cut the grease, get it off. You don't want to use too much water when you're when you're wiping and rinsing it off, because it suds up. Then you got like suds everywhere you have to deal with. Crazy. So I will go light on this, just as little as I need to get it clean. Wipe it with a sponge. And that, you know, as I'm rinsing it out in the sink and wiping it again, that's enough. And this is a good one. The other one I make is that I love, especially for a stainless steel sink, is half vinegar and half water. And that's distilled vinegar that you use, and then half water. And shake that up. It's a fantastic way to shine up stainless steel. It works really well. It's also a, what do you call that? It sanitizes, disinfects. It's a great way. The scent does linger for a little bit, so if you're someone like my husband who hates vinegar, you know, you're not gonna like the smell. It does linger for maybe an hour or two, but it works really well. And honestly, I hate the smell of a lot of cleaning, almost any cleaning product. It just smells so bad. I'd rather smell vinegar than like not be able to breathe. So those are what I use. I just keep them close by under the sink or at the sink. I always keep a sponge there. And then as soon as I've cleaned off the dishes, I just spray, and that takes maybe 1 minute just to quick wipe it down. That's better than nothing. You know, you don't have to do this huge like overhaul my kitchen deep clean every time, because if it takes you half an hour to clean your kitchen every time you go to do it, you're not going to do it very often because it takes half an hour. So if you can just do a 2-minute scrub and wipe down your counters, it's going to be a lot easier for when you do go for that like deep clean, when you go crazy. But this is just general maintenance cleaning just to keep it from getting crazy. You know, that's good. That's good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. But just getting that started, it really helps with keeping it up. It's easier to do a little bit, you know, every few days versus waiting and doing it once a month. So, but this one's one of my favorites, the dish soap and then the vinegar and water. It's fantastic. So hopefully that was helpful, and hopefully I can finish these dishes. I should get to work. Okay, bye.